I'm Marcus. I'm 24 years old, and this story happened in Chicago. I had just graduated from college but couldn't find a job. My credit card debt was piling up and I was about to miss rent. That's when I saw the posting from Sentinel Security. The position was for night security at the Blackwood Corporate Plaza downtown, 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. The pay was double what normal security jobs offered, which should have been a red flag. But I was desperate and had no other options. My first day on the job, the previous shift guy Danny gave me a quick tour. It was a modern 15-story office building, lobby on the ground floor, various company offices on the upper floors. Danny seemed nervous and kept checking his watch. "Listen, kid," he told me, "this place can get a little weird at night, but if you follow the rules, you'll be fine." The rules were simple. Do a patrol every hour. Use the stairs, not the elevators. Don't go to the 14th floor. And most importantly, if you hear strange noises, don't investigate. "Why can't we go to the 14th floor?" I asked. Danny's face tensed up. "Because it's not in use. Company policy." That night after Danny left, I was alone. The first few hours were quiet. I sat at the security desk monitoring the cameras. Things started changing after midnight. First, I heard the elevator. Ding. 3rd floor. I checked the cameras, but nobody was there. Maybe it was an electrical problem, I thought. Then 7th floor. Then 10th floor. The elevator would stop at each floor and the doors would open and close. Around 2 a.m., I went on patrol. I started climbing up using the stairs. Every floor looked the same. Long hallways, glass offices, emergency exit lights. But when I got to the 8th floor, I noticed something. There was a blue light coming from an office at the end of the hallway. This was strange because all office electricity was shut off at night. When I got closer, I saw the light was coming from a computer screen. The screen showed constantly changing numbers, like someone was working. I turned back and remembered Danny's rule. Don't investigate. The second night was worse. Same elevator sounds, same blue light, but this time there were other things too. I could hear footsteps from the upper floors, regular, slow steps, like someone was walking around. The third night, I gathered my courage. I decided to follow the footsteps. I climbed up to the 12th floor. The sounds were coming from the 13th. When I looked up the stairwell, I could see the door to the 14th floor. It had a big access restricted sign on it, but the sounds were coming from the 14th floor. I approached the door. The metal door was cold and slightly ajar. A strange smell was coming from inside, a mix of burned plastic and something rotting. And those sounds, they weren't footsteps anymore. It sounded like someone was crawling. I pushed the door open slightly and looked inside. I saw a dark hallway, but it was different from the normal office floors. The walls were metal with cables running along them. At the end of the corridor, a red light was blinking. "What are you doing here?" I spun around at the voice behind me. A middle-aged man in a suit was standing there, but something was off about his face. His eyes were too bright and he never blinked. I'm the security guard," I stammered. "I was doing my rounds." The man smiled, but his smile wasn't natural. "Ah, yes, the new kid. I'm Dr. Harrison, working late." "But isn't this a restricted floor?" "I have special clearance for some of our projects. You go back downstairs. I'll handle things here." I turned to leave, but something felt wrong. I had looked at the man's shoes. They made no sound, and when he walked, he didn't seem to touch the ground. The fourth night, I decided to call Danny. I'd gotten his phone number from Sentinel Security. But something strange happened. The company didn't know me. Danny who? They said. We don't have anyone by that name working for us. This was impossible. Danny had interviewed me, trained me, but he wasn't in the company records. That night I went back to the 14th floor. This time the door was completely open. I went inside. The hallway was metal and neon lights flickered overhead. There were footprints on the floor, but they were strange, much larger than human feet and oddly shaped. When I reached the room at the end of the corridor, what I saw I'll never forget. The room had glass tanks, and inside them, things were floating, human-shaped but modified. Their heads were too large, eyes closed like they were breathing. There were documents on the walls. Project Blackwood was written on them. Human experiment reports, DNA modifications, consciousness transfer. The dates went back to 1987. You've seen things you shouldn't have seen. Dr. Harrison was standing behind me. But this time he was different. His face was changing, shifting. It wasn't a real human face. Who are you? I asked. I'm the first successful experiment created here. I died in 1987, but my consciousness was transferred. Now I'm the guardian of this building. I tried to run, but the door slammed shut by itself. As Harrison approached, his face completely changed. He wasn't human anymore. You're going to stay with us. We always keep the new security guards here. Danny's here too, walking around the 3rd floor. The previous one, Mark, is on the 7th floor. That's when I understood. The elevator sounds, the footsteps, the lights, they were all previous security guards. They had all stayed here. They had all been transformed. I smashed the emergency exit window and looked outside. We were 14 stories up, but I had no other choice. As Harrison approached me, I threw myself out the window. I spent 6 weeks in the hospital. The police came, asked questions about the building, but when we went to Blackwood Plaza, the building was empty. The 14th floor was completely normal office space, no tanks, no experiments. But the strangest thing was this: Sentinel Security never existed. Nobody knew of such a company, and we never found Danny again. Now it's been 3 years. I moved to another city, work at a different job. But sometimes at night the phone rings. Danny's voice comes from the other end. Marcus, you're not coming to your shift. We're waiting for you here. And every time I hang up, because I know they're still there, still waiting. When I jumped out that window that night, I only broke my leg. But nobody knows what my real injury was. On my left shoulder, where Harrison touched me, there's still a growing metal mark. And it gets a little bigger every day. I guess I couldn't completely leave them behind.